and welcome to my channel, Crafting with Shuttermonkey. I'm Amanda, also known as Shuttermonkey, and I live in Ayrshire on the west coast of Scotland. Today is Wednesday the 5th of June, and this is episode number 44. Anything that I talk about today, if there are links available online, I will post them in the description box below. That way you'll be able to find anything that you're interested in easily enough yourself online. I have some knitting projects to share with you today, a bit of progress on my crochet. I don't have any patchwork and quilting to show you. I know you're supposed to be chasing me if I don't do any patchwork, aren't you? But I do have a patchwork project to talk to you about and some acquisitions. So let's just jump right into the knitting section. And the first thing I'm going to show you is a finished object. I should say finished objects because it's a pair. And it's a pair of socks. Two done. These were a whip the last time I recorded an episode, and this is the Tunnocks colourway from For the Love of Yarn, and this is the For the Love of Yarn ball band here, and it is, make sure I've got the right ball band and it's not the Brew one. Yep, and that's the Tunnocks colourway. I knitted these using 2.25mm needles, and I used my Scoosh toe-up pattern to make them, and I've just added a broken rib to the front of the sock and 2x2 rib on the back of the leg, just to make that leg a wee bit tighter round my husband's ankles. He's got quite slim ankles and these are for him. So I am calling this my first entry for summer sock camp. I'll need to get a wee picture posted online. I finished them on Saturday. I took them with me. We went to Galashiels in the Borders at the weekend and my husband was driving, and I don't know why, I used to always knit when he was driving, but recently I haven't. But I actually took these with me to knit on, and I got a full leg done. I just finished the heel flap, and I was to come up the leg and do the cuff, and I was 4 rounds short of the cuff when we arrived home. So that was all I had to do on Saturday. But I'm glad these are finished. I feel like these have been on the needles for quite a long time, but I think it's because as well, he's not really wearing knitted socks much just now, so. But that's them done. Finished object. Quite happy with that, and that's how much yarn is left over. I've got this in my it's a little yarn cake holder from, is it Cottontail Farm? I bought it during Sock Week last week that was organised by Nitty Natty, and it's quite handy for holding your full skein cakes. But this is what I've got left. It's about 20 grams. I think I'm going to have to sort out all of my sock leftovers and decide what I'm doing with them, because I've got quite a few wee bits like this lying about, either needing to be rehomed or decide if I'm going to keep them myself and use them. So there we go. That's one finished item. The next thing I'm going to show you is still a work in progress, sadly. I was trying my best to get them done, but there we go. Oh, you can actually see one's a wee bit darker than the other, can't you? This was I knitted a pair of mittens with this skein of yarn. It's a hand-dyed skein of yarn by Pixie Yarn, and the colourway is Cloudburst. I love this colourway. I love all the pinks and greys through it. And I knitted a pair of mittens, I think it was 2 summers ago, and that used up about 30 grams to knit the mittens, and I had 70 left over, so I'm just trying to do a shorty pair of socks. Now I did this one here first, and I got 13 rounds done in the cuff. It's only a short leg. It's only got 44 rounds in the leg. It's not a proper shorty sock, but it is a shorter leg than normal. And I've got 13 rounds so far in the cuff. And that's where I thought I would run out of yarn. That was halfway through the skein. And I've knitted this second one to the exact same stage. That's where I got to this morning. I'm all in a fangle here. That's where I got to this morning. They're both the exact same length now. And I have this left over. So I'm going to keep going on the cuff until I run out of yarn, and then that'll be all done. There's only about 15 grams there, I think. No, I haven't weighed it. I think there's only about 10 grams here, so I'll just keep using it until it's done. And that gets rid of that yarn. There won't be any more of it left in my stash. I am using the Knit Pro J'adore, the cubic needles that are kind of purpley colour. They're really nice to knit with, and I was worried that my tension was a wee bit off, but it's not. I think it just must have been visually how it looked. Because I've been knitting so many large size socks for my husband, I think when I went back to a medium size sock for myself, it just looked really small, and it's not, because this is on a medium size sock blocker, and it does fit okay before even blocking it. I will have those done for the next time. These are going to be my second entry into Summer Sock Camp 2024. If I can get these finished, this will be my second entry. You can actually see that there's a difference in colour in those two skeins. See, once they've been washed and worn a few times, they'll be absolutely fine. I'm trying to decide what one I like best. I like the lighter colour best, or the slightly darker one. They're both quite nice, aren't they? So that's all the sock projects that I've been working on. I've been trying over the past 2 weeks to get both of those pairs finished so I could cast on something new. And what I'm quite keen to cast on next is a pair of socks using this yarn here. I want to re-knit my Scoosh Socks Cuff Down. I released this pattern a couple of years ago, and over the past couple of years I've been fine-tuning some of my patterns, and I would like to just add those tiny wee changes that I put into most of my socks. It's just how you slip your stitches, whether you slip them knitwise or whether you slip them purlwise. I've found over the years that if you slip certain stitches knitwise, it gives you a neater join, and I'm just going to add that into the pattern. So I'm going to use this lovely colourway here. I've not even caked it up yet. I wanted to show you it in the skein. And this is by Cookston Crafts. This is a yarn dyer that's based in the northeast of Scotland. And she has some lovely colourways. And when I went to Gala Shields at the weekend, it was to go to Tangled. It was a yarn festival, and I bought a wee mini to go with it. And I think that goes really nice. So I'll use this little one here for contrasting heel, toes and cuffs. I think this one is called Oil Slick. And it's mostly dark purple with a few wee bits of paler blues and greens through it. I think that's what it's called. It was Oil Slick. And I think these will go lovely together. So you'll see those on my needles next time. This colourway here is called Ali Bali. And as I say, Cookston Crafts, both of them Cookston Crafts. And I'm really looking forward to just seeing how it looks when it's caked up, because I know when you cake up a yarn, it looks different from it did on the skein. But I did buy this one locally. I bought this one a couple of years ago from a local yarn shop, Fanco, in Prestwick. And it's been sitting in my stash, patiently waiting to be used, so now is the time. And the only other knitting project that I have been working on is a wee bit of knitting on my husband's cardigan. I haven't got much done. I only knitted on it one night. And this is the Lanark sweater by the Creabea. Now, the last time I showed you, I had the collar done and I'd started coming down the back, and I'd actually made it to this wee gold marker here, so I finished the back. It looks really, really tiny, doesn't it? But because it's half fisherman's rib, I should say, it does stretch out. I have placed it on his back, and I put the collar around his neck to see how that looked, and it does fit across his shoulders. But I think it just looks tiny when you're working on it. It looks like it's for my grandson rather than my husband, but it does stretch out. I've finished the back piece down to where the armhole shaping would end, and that's how long it should be for the armhole shaping. And I've picked up the stitches along the shoulder and along the bottom of the collar to start working on the front piece. And as I say, that was just one evening, so this side's still to be worked on later on. And I am now coming down underneath the collar and the left front here. So I'll get this to the same length as the back piece so far, and then you work on the right side. And see, once I've done that, I'm going to block it all and just make sure that it is the right length for these armholes. Because according to my swatch, that's the length it needs to be, and it'll block out, but I just want to check it. So that's only been one evening that I've worked on that. I'm going to try and focus on this on the month of June. This is the inside here that you can see. I should probably show you the other side. It's a wee bit neater. It feels like such a mess just now because it's kind of itty bitty and it's hard to hold it up and show you. I've left the back piece on these long circulars just with the wee cable stoppers on just now, and I've transferred my needle onto a shorter cable to work the left front. These are the Lantern Moon needles, and this is the only pair of Lantern Moon needles that I have. I do have a couple of different lengths of cables, but I only have the one set of needles, and these are the 3.5mm needles. The cables actually come with, sorry, when you buy the cables, they come with 2 cables in each box. So this 50cm length here that I'm working the left front on, when I'm finished that, I'll just pop little stitch holders on again, little cable ends on, and then I'll use the other cable to do the right front. There's a wee hole there, can you see it? It's just at the top there, where the shoulder seam joins the collar. But thankfully there's a wee end here, and I'll just use that wee end and I'll close that wee gap there. Because you can see it, can't you? Even from that side, look. I'll tidy that up. I'll do it later on, but once I've blocked it. But that's how that's looking so far. The Lanark sweater by the Coorie Bear, and it's on the 3.5mm needles, and I am using Rowan Pure Wool DK, and what is this colourway? Oh, I don't know, it just says shade 3. I'm not sure what the colourway name is, but it's shade 3. This is a discontinued yarn that I bought on eBay. I managed to get 14 balls of it. I'm only on my 3rd ball so far, so I hope I have enough. Either that or he's getting a wee cropped cardigan. I'm not sure how pleased they'll be about that. That's all the knitting that I have to share with you today. So let's move on to the knitting designs. My knitting designs, I don't have much to share with you. I haven't even published my cuff down version of the green apple socks. I forgot to do it. Well, that's not true. I didn't forget to do it. I forgot to block this sock. And I kept forgetting to block this sock. I would remember when I was in the car, like driving to the gym, I would like, you need to block that sock this week because you need photographs of it for your pattern. And then I would forget for another 2 days. So Friday came round and I'm like, oh, you have to publish your pattern today. I haven't even blocked my sock. So I'm going to do it this Friday, which is the 7th of June. I didn't want to publish the pattern with the old photos in it that are of the toe-up sock. I wanted a proper cuff-down version to put in the new version of the pattern. So it will come out this Friday. And the next pattern that I'm going to be looking for testers for are these ones here. And this is the pink bubblegum. So I'm going to put out a wee tester call now. I'll put it out now. You guys on YouTube, if anybody's interested, I'm looking for testers for this one here. And I'll make sure that I get a wee tester call out on Facebook and Instagram as well. I'll remember to do that on Monday, okay? So there's 2 weeks, you've got 2 weeks notice. So if I put a wee tester call out now, and we'll start the test knit 2 weeks from Monday. Monday's the 10th, so that'll be the 24th of June, the test knit will start, and it'll run for 2 weeks, and that is to the 8th of July. Okay, I have used West Yorkshire Spinners yarn for doing my shorty socks. It's a DK weight yarn. It does have nylon and wool in it. It's maybe not perfect for socks that you're going to be wearing under boots and shoes, but I never do that. I very rarely wear my socks underneath boots and shoes. I just don't like how they feel on my feet with my shoes on as well. I can wear them with walking boots, but not with regular shoes or trainers or anything like that. I just rather have a thinner sock. These are just for currying in at the end of the day, and you just want something to keep your wee toes nice and toasty. Okay, and that's all I have to share with you in the knit and design section. So let's move on to the crochet section, and I have actually got something to show you in the crochet section, and I'm quite excited to show this off. I have been working on the Jethro cardigan. Make sure I tell you what the pattern is this time. Jethro cardigan by Tanis Fibre Arts. And I've been working on this now, I think for the past few episodes you've been seeing my progress on this. 2 episodes ago I'd finished the back piece and I felt like it was going to be too small. So what I did was I took all my join as you go grey out and I added one more round to all the granny squares on the back. And then I joined it all back together using the join as you go method. And I showed you the last time and I felt like it was going to be too big. So what I did after filming the last episode, I took the top row back off. So I chopped the top row off it. And then on the sides, I took another 2 granny squares out at both sides, just here and here. It did mean that I had to take 3 rows out of the join as you go and then join these 2 rows here back together, minus the ones at this end here. And it's a lot better now. I've also finished the front pieces, which were relatively straightforward to do because I had leftover granny squares from right along the top. There was 7 from the top and then there was 2 for each side. So I had 11 granny squares that were free, that were going free. And I got my 2 side pieces done and I've joined it all together. So wait till you see how it's looking now. Maybe I should try it on and let you see it. I've not even had it on yet. See if it doesn't fit again. Right. Golly, I feel like an American footballer. Big shoulders here. Right. Let's stand up and see how this looks. That's better, isn't it? Yeah. Much more pleased with it now. So I've got the waistband on. Just using the Stormy grey colour. And I've also got the button band on as well. I've got one more button that I need for here. I'm not that big in each yet. I did buy the right amount of buttons, but 2 of them, I bought 9 buttons and I needed 8. I always buy extra when I buy buttons, just in case there's something wrong with one of them. But they're quite textured, the buttons, and 2 of them were pretty smooth. And I thought, do you know what? I'm not adding that on. To me, you could see the difference in the buttons. It feels quite... Once the sleeves are on, it'll pull that down, won't it? It feels like it's sticking out quite a bit there, but I think it will be okay. Yeah, you go stick it out on purpose and make it look even more ridiculous. But do you know what I noticed? Just earlier on, I'd already sewn the buttons on, and I looked at it earlier on and I realised that these granny squares down the front, they all match. Can you see that? It's different all the way around. But then they're matching. I'm not taking it out again just because of that. You think I would have noticed that in the planning stage, wouldn't you? But I didn't. Get my hair out the way. When I showed you the last time and it was going to be too wide, it was going to be too big, I thought I couldn't take it down to just the, what was it? I had 7 wide. And if I'd taken it down to only being 5 wide, it wouldn't have been wide enough at the front here because I would have the 2 and I think it would have been joining, it would just have been too tight. So when I took those 2 out the sides, that's from here, and I've left these wee side panels in there. Take it back off. Right. So underneath the armholes here, if you can see this better, that's the back piece, the last 3 bits from the back. They aren't. So I've actually got almost like a side column of granny squares, a side panel. The original pattern doesn't tell you to do that, but just because I felt that if I made it 5 wide at the back and it was only going to be 2 wide in each of the fronts, it would just be too neat on me. I wanted it big, baggy and oversized. So that's why I've left these wee bits in here. So it's almost half a hexie in the front and half a hexie in the back, but it'll just sit down the side panel and I'll just join my sleeves onto that. I've got a few ends I've still got a few ends to weave in. One end on each granny square, and I need to do that. And I'll get that done before I move on to the sleeves, I think. I thought it would be best to do the join as you go and then weave in that final end, and then I could weave it through the grey. Some of them I'd already woven in the final end, and see when it came to ripping it out and adding another row on, it was just, see, trying to untangle that wee end you'd woven in, so I'm glad I left the most of them out. I think I'm happy with it now. So a few ends to weave in, just the final end in each granny square, and that's it done. And as I say, one more button, because 2 of my buttons just didn't look right. So I'll buy one when I go back to the shop next week. There's nothing wrong with the other ones, they don't need returned, it's just they don't match as well, but they'll come in handy for something else. So that is my Jethro cardigan. I feel like this is my Goldilocks cardigan. The first one was too small, the second one was too big, this one I think is just right. Quite pleased with it. I did buy one each of the colours. It's West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab that I'm using in 5 different colours, for the pink and the purple shades. And then this Stormy Grey is called. Yeah, Stormy Grey. I have two partial balls of this left over. So I think one of them is I finished joining the back piece, join as you go, and then I also used it for joining my 2 fronts together. And then this one I've used for my waistband and button bands. So I've got 41 grams of one and 43 grams of the other. I think I'm going to try knitting a sleeve with this and see how far I get, because I don't know how much yarn I'm going to need for the sleeves. But it's only it's not full length sleeves I need, it's just shorty ones. I'm going to need to buy more yarn, but if I could use this up, I might only need one more ball. And it won't really matter if it's slightly different dye lots from one sleeve to the other. So I'll use all this and try and knit one sleeve. The only thing is, this moves to a knitting project now, doesn't it? Because the sleeves are knitted. Same as the button bands and the waistband. They were all knitted, picked up and knitted. I didn't have any bother with the picking up and the knitting. I think that's worked out okay. The only thing I did change was I used a smaller size needle than the pattern recommended. Your sleeves are knitted on a 4mm and your rib's supposed to be knitted on a 2.5. I took it down to a 3.25 because I just like using 3.25 for my rib and then 4 for the main body of the garment. If it's the sleeves will be on the 4. So I just came down that one size. So it's nearly finished. I'm not sure how much of this I'll get done in June. I'm going to try and focus on that Lanark sweater. June is my husband's birthday month, so I'm just trying to focus on that sweater for him. See if I can get it finished by the end of the month. I don't know if I will, but I'll see what I can get done in June. She says that now. I'll probably find something else to distract me, won't I? Right, let me just move this out the way. So the final crochet item I've got to show you is my little peony flower, and I got her finished. Isn't she sweet? I only had to do the legs. The last time I showed you this wee flower, the body was done, the head was done and all the petals were on. Our arms were done but they hadn't been sewn on, and so all I had to do was to crochet up the legs and then sew together. The only thing is, I'm not sure if I like her wee face. I'm not sure if I need to change her face, whether her eyes should be slightly further apart, but I'm going to leave her just now. Or maybe even her mouth. Maybe I should do her mouth in a shade of pink rather than a black mouth. But I'm going to leave her sitting like this just for a little while. Because see that way I keep looking at it and I'm going, no, it's fine, her face is fine. And then I'm like, no, there's something not quite right. Maybe it's the black mouth that I don't like. Maybe I need to change that. I think as well it's difficult to see her eyes because she's on that blush colourway, which is just a natural colour with little hints of pink. But I'm quite pleased with how she turned out. And my peonies haven't popped open yet, so I did actually get her finished before my peonies pop open. So I'll get a wee picture here with my peonies once they open. I feel like she's tiny. I've been watching a few other people that do podcasts that do Toff toys. Memily Makes was one of them, and Shell Star Stitches was another. And Shell Star Stitches does a lot of Toff to crochet projects, and any of the flowers that they two have made, I feel like I look at them and theirs are huge, well, huge compared to mine. I think I'm just a really, really tight crocheter. Our wee head's not as wobbly as it was last time. Do you know what I did? I cut open her body. This is where you finish, sorry. This isn't a very flattering, no, right. At the bottom of the body, rather than me spreading her legs open and trying to show you in there. At the bottom of her body, right here in the middle, that's where you finish. Because we started at the head and worked the way down, and we finished here. So I just cut off that final round, and I took out the wee loose threads, and then I unwound a couple, just pulled the yarn, unwound a couple of crochet rows, and I restuffed it. So it's a wee bit more firm than it was before. Not as firm as sometimes I do my dolls. I did manage to get a wee bit extra stuffing into that neck, so it's not quite, I don't mind it wobbling a wee bit, but she was just quite floppy, wasn't she? Yeah, you needed me doing an impression of that, didn't you? I did get her finished, and as soon as I finished the legs, I actually cast on the next flower. Is it cast on? If it's crochet, you would hook it on, wouldn't you? Anyway, I started the next flower. The next flower is the delphinium. I hadn't even sewn this one up, and I started the next one. But the reason I started the next one, we were down in Galashiels at the weekend. I know I keep mentioning I'm down there, but I'm going to get to it in the acquisitions section, okay? And we pulled into a car park. One of the car parks, there's 4 abbeys down there, and we pulled into one of the car parks, and instantly I was hit with a memory of being in that car park 2 years ago and buying a crochet kit off of someone in a Facebook group, and it was the delphinium kit that I bought. And I remember being in that car park, and the woman that was selling it had sent me a PM on Facebook, and I was struggling with my phone reception, and I had said that I wanted the kit from her, told her to let me know her payment details, and I was trying to send the payment through PayPal to her, and I was struggling because my reception in my phone wasn't good. And I just had this flashback to that day. Oh, remember the last time I was here and I was struggling to pay for that Toft flower. So I thought, I need to get that delphinium cast on as quick as I can, get her started, because that's been 2 years now. So I did. Now this is how, mine's is a wee bit different from the original Toft delphinium, okay? I've used a wee bit of, is it Creative Liberty here? So here's how mine is looking so far. It reminds me of, did you ever watch the movie Coneheads? Was it Dan Aykroyd that was in it? That's what it reminds me of, a conehead. The Toft one is a lot shorter, the head's a lot shorter, and there's a lot less flowers on it than I'm planning on putting on mine. So these are the large flowers that's on. How did I change it actually? You start here again at the head, and it's the same as the peony, you finish down here. I can show you the base of this one because it doesn't look like I'm doing something rude, does it? You start up here at the head and you do your increases, but see, in between every increase row, I crocheted an extra 3 rounds. I didn't come up with this myself. Someone on the Toft Addicts Facebook group, there's quite a few people have made this flower and made changes to it, and they've listed what they did differently, so I just followed someone else's recommendations. So it's 3 extra rows between every increase to give you a longer head. And then the flowers, people have just gone a wee bit rogue with the flowers. So you're supposed to make 2 of the big flowers. I've made 5. And then the next round of flowers on here is going to be a medium-sized flower. I think you only do 2 of those as well. Maybe it's 4, But I'm going to do the 5 again, and they'll fill in these gaps here. And then I'll just do another 5 of them, place them, see how it looks, because there's also a small flower and then there's a bud. So I'll just take it for here and I'll maybe do 5 of each size of flower and see how it looks as I sew each one on. This one here, I haven't attached this one here. The reason I've left that one off, a few of the ladies that made the changes actually left a wee gap here. Rather than putting that flower up there, they left a wee gap here. And that's where they stitched the facial details on, the wee eyes and the wee mouth. And it looks quite nice, just a wee gap. And you can see the green, and that's their wee face in there, and the rest is covered in flowers. So I've only pinned her in just now. I've just stuck a wee pin in the middle. And I've used the Toft pink shade. And see in the centre of the flowers, I've used that blush colourway again, because I didn't use a lot of that for my peony. I only used about 33 grams, and I've got 100 grams of it. So I just thought it would be nice if the two of them were almost matching. The original Toft one is done in 2 shades of blue, and I know blue delphiniums are beautiful, but I wanted all, I think I'm going to do all my flowers with shades of pink. So that's how my delphinium is looking. So I need to get some more flowers done, and I'm going to sew them on as I go, so I know how many I need to make of each size. And then she's just got, again, wee arms and legs to go on, but our arms are just kind of quite long, thin arms. Delphinium leaves are quite big, they're quite splayed out. So I don't know whether to make changes to the arms or just to go with the original Toft ones. I'm not sure what to do. I haven't decided, but I've got time to decide that. And that's how my crochet is looking. Quite happy with my wee flowers. They're quite cute, aren't they? While we're in the crochet section, I've got a little giveaway that I would like to run. I won this kit from Toft during, was it Edstravaganza, about 1.5 years ago, and I've never used it, and I'm probably never going to use it because I've already got the kits to make these little sweetie monsters, they're called. So it's a wee sweetie head and just a wee body, and everything is in here that you need to make your little flower monster. There's 2 balls of wool, there's an orange one down the bottom, there's some stuffing in there as well, there's a Toft crochet hook, the little Toft crochet hook is here as well. There's also a little darning needle that Toft sell too. There's a little bundle of white and black for you to sew on the eyes, and a wee mouth if you want it as well. Did I say there was stuffing in the bottom? And then there's the paper pattern, the cardboard pattern as well. And you've got the orange and you've got the magenta. And I'm just not going to use it because I've already got the kits to make these sweetie monsters. Another thing that's lying waiting to be started. So I thought I would have a wee giveaway and see if anyone else would like this. So what to do, leave me a wee comment and just tell me what your favourite sweeties are. Okay, I love Turkish Delights and Parma Violets. Anything really rose and violet flavoured or even lemon flavoured. I've got a really sweet tooth, I like everything to be honest. So just let me know what your favourite sweetie is. Tell me where you are in the world as well, even if it's like Turkish Delight and you're in the US, because your Turkish Delight might be slightly different from ours. Because I know if you buy Turkish Delight from Turkey, it's actually a lot different from the brands that what we get here in the UK. The Turkish Delight you get in Turkey is much nicer. Just let me know your favourite sweetie and I'll pick one and let you know who the winner is next time. It's open internationally, doesn't matter where you are in the world. Okay, just leave me a wee comment. I'll randomly pick somebody before the next episode, okay? I'll let you know who the winner is next time. Let's move on to the patchwork and quilting section, and I don't have any finished pieces to show you. You feel free to chin me in those comments, I told you you could, okay? But I do have something that I wanted to share with you. There is a new quilt along that has started from Fat Quarter Shop. I can't show you a picture of the quilt because it's a mystery, but it's the Spooky and Sweet. It's called Spooky and Sweet Quilt Along. And again, it's a Halloween quilt along. Now I think there's a wee ghost block. This is what we're making first. And this is how it's going to look here. Now I haven't made mine yet. I don't have... Yeah, I know. It doesn't matter what size your stash is, you always need to buy more, don't you? I don't have all the colourways that I need. It's Bella Solids, these colours. Some of them you're only needing a fat quarter, and other ones it's no much. Some of them it's only a fat eighth that you're needing. But I think I'm going to get them when I next go to my quilting class. I started going to a little quilting class in Fabric and Finery in Helensburgh. I went there a few weeks ago to an overlocker class, and I said I would go back to the quilting class, and it was just great. It was wonderful. I really did enjoy it. At first I thought maybe I shouldn't be going to a quilting class. I don't really need a quilting class. I walked in there, and within 15-20 minutes I had about half a dozen blocks that I wanted to make. And that's partly the reason why you go to these things, isn't it? It's the social get together, isn't it? It's not just all about the techniques and the learning stuff. Sometimes it's just about getting in and getting a load of inspiration and coming home thinking, yeah, I want to get my sewing machine out. That's what it's all about. So I think when I next go, I'm going to take this with me, and I'll get the fabrics that I need, because I know that shop sells lots of Bella Solids, and I'll pick something that can make this quilt along. Now, I think what they said, I've not watched the full video yet, I think what they said was you can actually make it as a door hanger, so it'll hang over a door, or it can be a table runner. I don't know if I'm going to do that with them, or if I will just make the blocks as they go along and make it into a lap size quilt, or make something smaller, make a smaller table centre or something with it rather than a table runner. But I really like their Halloween quilt alongs. They've done 4 of them already. No, this is their 4th one. They've done 3 already. And I've taken part in 2 of them. So you've seen these before. Let me stand up. So that was the first one. That was Bats and Boos. So that's the 2 quilt-alongs from Fat Quarter Shop that I've taken part in. This one I've actually not long finished. It was only was it April, May that I stitched the binding down. I sat and hand stitched the binding. If you can see a couple of grubby marks on this, there is one right about here. My granddaughter was round. My son and his family were round visiting, and my granddaughter needed a quilt to lie on, and this is the one I gave her because it was the most recent one that I'd finished, and I knew there would be no cat hair on it. So it's got a couple of wee dirty marks on it, because now that Amara's had a shot at it, me and the cat have been using it as well. And then this one was the Bats and Boos. That one was Haunted. Was it Haunted House? And this one is Bats and Boos. I've still to layer this one up and quilt it, but I don't actually have any wadding. So I think what I'll do the next time I go to my quilting class, I'll get wadding for this, because I see that that shop sells the bleached white stuff, and because this has got a lot of white, it might work quite well in the back for this. It is 100% cotton. It's the Hobbs stuff, and it's bleached white. Unless you can tell me there's something wrong with that and just stick to my warm and natural. But I think I'll do that the next time I'm there. It saves me buying a full roll of it, because I feel like I buy enough to do maybe a double bed or a queen size bed, and then you end up with all these strips left over, and I never ever join mine together. I end up using them for other things, whether it's like table runners or placemats or something else, or bags. I use the wee leftover cut-offs to fade down the edge. I use them for bags. But I could just buy the length that I need, because you can buy it by the half metre in the shop, so I might do that. That's all I've got to share with you in the patchwork and quilting section. So let's move on to acquisitions. And as I've mentioned a couple of times before, we went over to Galashiels on Friday. There was a yarn festival over there called Tangled, and it was a 2-day event. It was on Friday the 31st of May and Saturday the 1st of June, and I had get tickets to go on the Friday. So my husband came with me. He didn't come into the yarn festival, it was just me that went in myself, and it was really, really nice. It was a lovely drive over. It was a really nice day as well. And I did my usual. I wasn't in the yarn festival for very long, but I did go in and get a couple of things. So the first stall that I went to was Cookston Crafts, and this is the Gala colourway. This is the show colourway, and I have bought it on the Suri alpaca. Yep, Suri alpaca and silk base. I don't have a lot of Suri alpaca or mohairs in my stash, so I thought, right, I'll go get the Gala colourway. I quite like that colourway. And I think it goes quite nice with that mini skein, even though they weren't bought to go together. That's to go with that. So that was the Gala colourway from Cookston Crafts, and I did buy the wee oil slick mini to go with the Ali Bali for the socks that I want to knit. The next stall that I went to was a stall called Lily K. I'll put links to all these shops in the box below. And Lily K sells kits to make your own little crochet baskets. And there's little wooden bases that you get with the crochet basket. So you crochet into the little base first. That's your base, and you're just crocheting in to make the sides. Now she gives you the pattern, and you get the wooden bases, and it was 2 wooden bases, so you could either have, there was 2 oval ones, or there was 2 circulars, and there was 1 square. And I don't know if she lets you do that online, but at the show you were allowed to mix and match. So I've bought a wee oval one and one of the small circular ones. And then you get to pick your crochet, your macrame cord colourway that you like. And I picked this one, which is called Cherry. And this is just the bobbiny macrame cord. She said there's enough in here to do 2 baskets. I'm a tight crocheter, and maybe I'll get enough to do 4. So you get this in your kit. You get a copy of the pattern, and then she gives you the cord and the bases. You also get a large size crochet hook. This is a 9mm crochet hook. I wonder if I would need to come up a wee bit actually. I'll find out soon enough, won't I? And a little stitch marker as well to keep your place. And there's also links in the pattern to our YouTube channel as well. So if you get stuck, you can go follow our directions on our videos. I was wanting to get these started, these wee baskets, but I thought I'll wait and I'll show you my kits before I actually make them up. But do you know what? I just get rid of a load of this. Last summer, I had 2 or 3 colours of this that I charity shopped, and now I want it back. That always happens, doesn't it? There's stuff lying about, you don't use it, and then the next thing you know, you want it again. But I don't think it's that expensive to buy it, is it, if I wanted to make more baskets? So hopefully I'll get one of those done, and I can show you that the next time, how they look crocheted up. And the only other thing I bought was some yarn from this company. I think their logo is one of the prettiest yarn logos that I have ever seen. They're called Whistle Bear, and they are based in North Yorkshire. And it's their own yarn from their own farm that they sell. And they had 3 different types of yarn there. No, they didn't. They had 4-ply, they had double knitting, and they had Aran weight yarn. And it comes in wool. It's just 100% wool, or they have it's mohair and wool. And they also have a sock yarn as well that didn't have any nylon in it. I didn't buy their sock yarn, but what I did buy was their Whistle Bear's own mohair. It's 80% mohair and 20% their own wool as well, just to give it a wee bit of strength. So I did buy 5 different colours. Let's see if I can hold them all up. And the usual, it's pinks and greys. I think this one is called Will o' the Wisp, and that's the only one I can remember because the names aren't on them, but I'll need to check the website. I would like to knit maybe a cowl, a colourwork cowl, or a scarf with these. I don't have enough yarn probably to do what I want because these are only 20 gram minis. And how much yarn have we got on here? Oh, it doesn't tell you the yardage on them. 70 metres it does tell you. Each one of these only has it's got 70 metres on it. I don't know if I've got enough to do a full cowl, but I thought I'll take these colourways that I like. And I was swithering or not whether to get some green as well, or maybe some more purples. And I thought, do you know what, take these ones just now and you can decide when you get home. Because even if I decide that I wanted the main shade to be pink, I could buy another couple online and get them delivered. But that's what I bought while I was there, and it's just lovely and soft. It's really, really nice. And that was it. That was all I bought when I was there. And after that, we went for a wander. There are 4 abbeys in the Borders. There's probably more than 4, but the 4 big ones, the 4 well-known ones, you can actually do a cycle route between all 4 of them. We didn't cycle, we went in the car. I think it's 55 kilometres if you do the full cycle route between all the 4 abbeys. So we did manage to get round all 4 abbeys. Most of them were closed a couple of years ago when I was down there. I didn't get in. When I was teaching my knitting classes, I didn't get into any of the abbeys because it was too late in the day by the time you finished teaching your class. But a lot of them were actually closed because just there were safety checks waiting to be done. There's fallen masonry, fallen brickwork. A couple of them have been reopened, and the other ones, it's just parts that have been reopened. So we did manage to get into the most of them. So we went to, what order did we do them in? We went to Melrose first. Melrose is quite nice. It's a lovely wee town as well. And then after that, we went to Dryborough. I'm trying to remember the order we did them in. So it was Melrose first, then we went to Dryborough, then we went to Jedburgh, and then we went over to Kelso before we headed home. And Kelso is the one that I was sitting in the car park going, this is where I bought my delphinium kit. I was sitting in this car park. So as soon as I got home, I thought, I need to get those legs finished and get this head done. And the other thing was, because I'd been reading up, because this came into my mind and I'd been reading up about how to adapt the head, I thought, just do it. So I actually started it with a leftover yarn from my peony. I just went straight on with a leftover ball of green and started this one. It was just so nice to be back in the Borders again. I really enjoyed my trip. I went there 3 times when I was doing my knitting classes, and it was lovely each time I was there. I don't think there's been anything else exciting happened in the past few weeks. Apart from getting a couple of crowns fitted. Got a couple of crowns fitted at the back here. You can't see them because they're right at the back. My teeth were all broken and I needed crowns. I'm not a good patient when I go to the dentist, so it's pretty traumatic sometimes when I go. You'd think the amount of fillings and stuff that I've had over the years, I would be quite good going to the dentist, but no. But that's done now, and I've got another 2 that I need to get done to finish off this side, but we'll wait till we're over the trauma of this last dental visit. So it might take me 6 months before I go back. But apart from that, that's it. Still decorating my daughter's old room. We've actually got the new flooring down, and last night we just put the skirting boards back on because we'd taken all the skirting boards off before we painted and put the flooring down, and now they're glued back on. That is all I have to share with you today. I'm surprised my voice has lasted this long. I feel like it's about to go. I don't even have a sore throat or anything, so I don't know what's wrong with it. That really is all I have to share with you anyway. I'll go get myself a wee cup of tea and rest my voice for a wee bit. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Okay, bye.